What's up, dudes? It's Molly. I'm here to bring you a channeled reading. You guys, my computer's booting up. It's taking for freaking ever because the hacker shut it down. Yeah, I'm still dealing with the hacker. So while it takes forever to boot up, I thought I'd let's talk about immigration. Yeah, I have a reading called This Thing with Mexico, where I'm talking about what's happening down at the southern border. Yeah, so a lot of people have opinions on it who are citizens here of the United States. A lot of people, and everybody has the right to their opinion, absolutely. But we want to make sure we're having educated opinions and not just opinions. And so when I say that, I've seen a lot of people say, well, I did it, therefore you should do it too. Yeah. I went through all the proper channels to become an American citizen. Why aren't these people doing it? They're cheating. It's completely unfair. Yeah, so that's a statement that gets said quite a bit. And just for education, yeah, it's important that we remember, if you did it and you were able to get your citizenship, then you came from a country where there was a path to citizenship here in the United States. A lot of people think that it's the same path no matter where you're from. So if you just go, fill out the proper things, do the proper things, you can be a citizen too, which is completely untrue. It's totally true. It's totally true that it's untrue. Yes, okay. I am channeling, so anything I say is part of your message. For example, if you are a Canadian and you decide you want to become an American citizen, your path to citizenship is completely different than a Mexican person who decides they want to become an American citizen. It's not like both of you can go and say, I want to be an American citizen, and I'm going to do all this list of things, and then I'll become an American citizen. No, Canada has a certain list of things. If the Mexican does the same thing on the Canadian list, they don't get the path to citizenship that the Canadian does. So there's certain countries where citizenship is easier, countries of origin, and South America and Mexico. Let's remember now, darlings, Mexico is still part of North America. Yeah. These places south of the United States have a tougher path, if not no path to citizenship. So, what? Yeah, it's true. I'm going to pull up a piece of information and then we'll read it together. But I got to pause this right now because my computer's booting up and then I got to find it. So, yeah, I'll be back in 1 sec. Okay, I'm back. My computer is up and running. So I have updated the playlists. I kind of re-edited it. So if you click on the playlist section of my reading, a lot of the signs will now say this thing. Tell me about this thing with Mexico. It's a reading called This Thing with Mexico. And if you want some more information, I have lots of information in the comment section. Now, some signs may not show that coming up, and that's because the hacker has hacked my channel and made it so I cannot save on certain signs. So you are included in all of this. If you're noticing, videos are not including you in the playlist, blame it on the hacker. All right. So I have a piece of information up here from the American Immigration Council. Why don't immigrants apply for citizenship? And the answer is there is no line for many undocumented immigrants. Okay? Many people wonder why all immigrants do not just come to the United States legally or simply apply for citizenship while living here without authorization. These suggestions miss the point. There is no line available for current undocumented immigrants, and the quote-unquote regular channels are largely not available to prospective immigrants who end up entering the country through unauthorized channels. Even though more than 80% of undocumented immigrants have lived in the United States for over 10 years, many could live out the rest of their lives without any opportunity to become legal residents of this country. No line is available for the mass majority of undocumented immigrants. Immigration to the United States is on a temporary or permanent basis, is generally limited to 3 different routes: employment, family reunification, or humanitarian protection. And that's the humanitarian protection. That's like refugee, that's like there's a war going on in our country. Yeah. So in Mexico, there is a war. There's a war with the drug cartel. But our government doesn't consider that a real war. So these people are not refugees. All right? Many undocumented immigrants are barred from obtaining legal status while inside the United States. Unauthorized, undocumented immigrants who enter the United States without being legally admitted and inspected are generally not eligible to obtain green cards while still inside the country. Even if there is a visa available, they are barred from adjusting status and getting a green card without first leaving the country because of how they entered the United States. So if your family came into the United States and you were like a toddler and you've spent your whole life here, yeah, and if you get in trouble for whatever, it doesn't have to be like you do a violent crime. If you got too many speeding tickets, yeah, they could deport you back to that country that you speak no language of, and you've been Americanized since you were a toddler. And is it your fault that your parents were not able to make you a legal citizen? So these are some of the thought exercises that people are thinking about this stuff. And pregnant people are really making a run across the border because if they have their baby on American soil, that baby will be an American citizen. All right. So it goes through the different, and I'll link this piece of information. It goes through the different kind of avenues that are available. But here's the real kicker that we have to remember. Even those who can get in line are subject to long backlogs and waits. All right? People with countries with high levels of immigration to the United States, for example, so yeah, which I think maybe some people would consider these lesser countries that are poorer than us. Yeah. For example, Mexico, we have China, India, and the Philippines genuinely have the longest waiting time for immigrant visas. So a person in Canada can apply for an immigrant visa and they can get it. And a person from Mexico can apply for an immigrant visa at the same time. And they have to wait way longer than the person from Canada because they're from Mexico and that other person is from Canada. And Canada, yeah, is not deemed a lesser country. Therefore, they have an easier path to citizenship. So it's not like Canada and Mexico do not have the same rules. All right? For example, the married and unmarried adult children of U.S. citizens from Mexico and the Filipino siblings of U.S. citizens must wait between 19 and 24 years for visas to become available. It's true. There is a limited lottery for certain countries. If a person who wishes to immigrate to the United States does not qualify under the family, the employment, or the humanitarian systems, there may be one more legal path. The annual diversity visa program makes up 50,000 green cards available to persons from countries with low rates of immigration to the United States. People from Mexico, China, the Philippines, India, and other countries with higher levels of immigration to the United States are not eligible. So, yeah, you can, if you're from those, you're not eligible. To qualify, applicants must have a high school education and 2 years of job experience. Since millions of people around the world apply each year, the chances of obtaining a visa through the lottery are extremely low. In addition, the diversity visa program is barely functioning at the present time due to continued impact of immigration bans implemented by the Trump administration and an extremely slow processing by the Biden administration. Conclusion: undocumented immigrants who want to become citizens of the United States cannot just get in line. Although there are some lines, many aspiring lawful permanent residents are not eligible to be in any of them. Even if an undocumented immigrant does meet the formal requirements to immigrate, the wait can be very long if the individual is applying from a country with a lengthy backlog of applications. So it all depends where you're coming from. So if people are saying, I did it, you can do it too. Yeah, you can only say that to people who came from the same country you came from. So for example, if you came from Canada and you're all, I did it, why can't you do it? You can only say that to people who've come from Canada, who had to go through the same process you did, because your process is not the same process for people who are coming from South America. So that's the thing that we can get confused about, that everybody has an equal opportunity to be a citizen. They don't. And so that's why they're flooding the borders right now. And it's really important that we remember we don't fall for propaganda. Now, you don't have to agree with like the massive influx of people that have come over the border. And here's what I just said is not propaganda, because I added the word people. So, and this is propaganda is a technique that the Nazis really, really perfected. And it's propaganda is so you are removing your emotional cord from another person, and you no longer see them as a person. You see them as a rat. You see them as an illegal. If you're referring to people as illegals, yeah, you're forgetting to add the word person onto the end. So we really have to make sure we're not falling for propaganda where we're being used as political puppets. Now, if you think all of these people are going to be running across the border, and they're going to keep running all the way to the polling booths, all the way to the voting booths, so they can go and vote for the person you don't want to be president, yeah, you're deluding yourself. If you think all these illegals are votes for your enemy, you've fallen for the propaganda. So that's like saying, yeah, you got a warrant? Yeah, you gonna go to are you gonna show up? place your vote for who you want to be, yeah, the sheriff. You got a warrant? You're gonna go in to the cop convention now? Go place a vote? No, these people are not going in to vote. And if you convince yourself, or talking heads have convinced you that all these illegals are votes for your enemy, and they're not people that are literally like running for their lives, then you've fallen for the propaganda. The last place these people are going to go, if they're trying to fly under the radar, is into any form of government building. That's the truth. All right. And then we also have to remember, we're just exercising compassionate interpretation. And we have to remember there was a time when helping a Jew in Hitler's Nazi was against the law. There was a time when helping a slave was against the law. And there's people who are literally kicking over water that other totally thirsty people, not aliens, not illegals, people need. So Spirit's asking, what side of the blueberry are you on? Are you falling for the propaganda? Now, it's okay to say, I don't like this undocumented flux of people coming in. This has to stop. But you have to admit that these are people. They're not just votes for your enemy. And if you truly believe that, if you truly believe, oh my God, 11,000 votes for my enemy just came over the border today, this week. Oh my God. The presidency is rigged. Yeah, you're willfully ignoring that there is a huge problem with the Mexican drug cartel in Mexico. It's wild freaking west. There's people hanging from bridges. The cartel has infiltrated everything. And you should learn about why these people are coming across. Do you really think somebody has said to themselves, I'm going to walk thousands of miles, hundreds or thousands of miles, so I can vote for a certain political party? I'm going to risk my life walking through a desert, holding my children's hands, so that one person isn't going to get the president that they want. These people are coming from places that have dirt floors and no TVs. Do you really think they're puppets for the president? Because if you truly believe that, you've fallen for propaganda, and you should get educated. They're not running across the border and running straight to the voting booth. That's the last place they're gonna go. Even if they don't have to show anything, that's the last place they're gonna go. These people are paranoid. All right. So there's some current event. I hear the event. Current events. And if you get a chance, if you're interested, check out that reading. It's called This Thing with Mexico. All right, there you go. And let's remember, you can have whatever opinion you want about this. It is a big, big problem that's happening right now. But we have to remember that these are people. And if you are not using the word people when you're describing these, Spirit wants to know, are you participating in propaganda? All right, there you go. Peace out. I love you. I hope you love you.